Wow. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Monday. Everybody loves Mondays. March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Orange is kind of like green, right? It's kind of... Do I have anything green? I know what I'll do. I'll wear my snake puppet today. So you can't pinch me, or I will bite you. 2025 AD. I'm live on... I see I'm live on Rumble. I don't see Rumble yet. Yeah, what's up? JLP rated the stream. Thank you. I should be live on... nopunchy.tv/Hake. To this day, we've been having problems. It used to be some other chump who had the problems. I'm like, must be them. But now it's me. Must be me. And I turned it on early this time. What a mess. So you can't watch punchy.tv/Hake at this time to this day, but we're working on it, okay? It's not like it's your primary destination. Let's be honest, right? But it is good to have, so we're working on it. We're always making improvements. We're working toward them anyway. So, but I am live on X, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. What's up, Jules? Nice to see you, man. Okay, thank you, Jules. Thank you for the tip. Oh, terrible. Really? She went there, huh? I'm just reading the live chat. There's mess going on in the world. I have a few super chats to address. Coffees. Thank you, guys. I did see those come in. You know, I appreciate that our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, is doing what's right anyway, you know? And the right thing is to deport alleged criminal illegals or criminal gang member illegals. And that's the right thing to do. I don't care what some judge has to rule about it, you know? It's not in the judge's purview, in my opinion. And so, and actually Trump says that he did not flout the order. He did not flout the order. So I don't even quite get it, but I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad that he's on it. I'm glad he's doing it anyway, which is what you should do, you know? So right on our greatest president, Trump. Right on to our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. It is never wrong to deport illegals. I don't think, unless you can come up with a instance in which it is wrong to deport illegals. I'm open to hearing it, but Trump is quite reasonable and gracious with all, including the illegals. So leave me alone. I want to get started here. I will take your calls if you'd like to call in. 1-888-775-3773. It is a Mexican Monday. Everybody loves Mexican Monday. That means I play Mexican music. And it may not be Mexican, but I know Mexicans who listen to it. So don't be nitpicking just because I'm playing something that actually, Hake, that's Colombian or whatever. Cuban. I don't care. Mexicans like it, and so do I. Shout out. So, anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. And isn't this beautiful scenery? A beautiful scenery. You see the nice blue clouds over above where the sun was setting, over the obvious globe. Shout out. That was Christmas Adam. Something like that. The 23rd of Christmas, 2023 AD. Mount Baldy, sunset. It's right there in the title. My little video there. Yeah, so you can get this shirt currently by going to hake.printify.me, and it is available. This is I was trying to find which type of shirt was the best for, you know, for whatever. Oh man, no, not this again. I just wanted to find out which one was the best. I do have it, right? Oh, yeah. It's the lady. Facts versus Truth. It's called Bella Canvas 3010. There are different... I became somewhat of a wannabe t-shirt connoisseur. So Bella Canvas 3010 is an oversized boxy tee. So it is definitely not too long. If anything, it's a touch short now that I shrank it because I washed it. And I think I usually tend to dry at low. Hold on one moment. None. I was just fixing something. I pointed it that way to be out of the way. But I might have dried it a little bit warmer. I'm not sure. And that might have been why I shrank more. But anyway, yeah, so get yours if you like. And you can get it in different... The one that I got was this one. What's that one? Toast is the color. It's a pretty nice color, you know? I'm into orange type colors. And gals or guys can get it. So, FYI. Nice. Okay. I wanted to get to the news here. If you mosey on over to the HakeReport.com, news from a Christian alpha male perspective, according to, what's his name? The late, great resident historian, Asmodor. I'm laughing because a white man won the LA Marathon. Isn't that nice? I love it. Eat that, Kenyans. Normally, Kenyans win the marathon. If you know anything about distance running, long distance running, this is real long distance. It's like ridiculous. I was a distance runner, middle distance, in high school and college a little. You could call it the mile, the 2 mile, sometimes the 800. Not that I was fast at the 800, but 3 miles, 5 miles, 4 miles if you were in junior college, community college. That was a nice thing. Matt Richtman. Richtman. First American man. That's right. To win the LA Marathon in 31 years. It's an article in the CNN United States shared from far left extremist Associated Press, AP. And look, he has he's holding the American flag behind him. Right on, Alan Richtman. He looks sort of like that Jewish guy from the son of Han Solo, the Darth Vader Part 2 guy. A little bit. So I was wondering if he's Jewish or what. I searched the name Richtman, and they do lean more, 40 to 45% more Democrat per capita per the average. They're prominent in like Minnesota and some of these other states. And so I don't know, he might be a Democrat. Are all athletes Democrats? But good job, man. Hey, look, he has is the face of the watch on the inside of the wrist. Very tactical, or is it? But right on, man. He won the 40th annual Los Angeles Marathon on Sunday. I didn't even know there was a marathon. I didn't hear anybody complaining about traffic here. Normally, the traffic it's difficult to get to Bond sometimes on marathon days, but I guess it was okay this time. Set a personal best time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, 56 seconds. So, wow. How fast is that? Let's say 26.2 miles times 4-minute pace is really, that's flying. Nobody does that, right? 104 minutes, 0.8 minutes, which is under 2 hours. I wonder if anybody does that. But it's certainly faster than 5-minute pace, right? 5-minute pace is 2 hours and 11 minutes. So he was going faster than 5-minute pace. I broke 5 for the mile, for 1 mile. My freshman year of high school, 4:59.9 as a little 14-year-old kid. So I could have kept up with him maybe my freshman or sophomore year or junior year. Sophomore year, 4:44. Junior year, I kind of choked. I ran 4:40. But anyway, shout out to this man. Right on. Where did he go? Oh, yeah, here we are. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do math. Okay, so let's say roughly 2 hours and 8 minutes, because 4 seconds shy. Okay, that's 120, right? 8 divided by 26.2 is 4 minutes, 4.885 minutes. So 60 times 0.885 is 53. So he was averaging 4:53. All right, I probably could have kept up with him 1 mile my freshman year. Not probably. You know what? I probably would have kept up with him for 2 miles in high school. Anyway, that's not the point of this story. Right on, man. This course began at Dodgers Stadium, so that's near like China. Went through downtown LA, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and Brentwood before ending in the Century City neighborhood. Wow, so you had to like drive to a completely different part of the town, because Century City is way out that way. Not way out that way, but it's a little ways that way, and Dodger Stadium is way over there. Athanas Kioko of Kenya was second, 2 minutes, 10 seconds, 55 seconds. 2 hours, 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Moses Kurgat of Kenya took third. Congratulations, you Kenyans. You're always so dominant. They run everywhere. They're on foot everywhere. I picture all these foreign countries as just being dirt roads. It was just Richtman's second marathon, following his debut last fall, Twin Cities Marathon. What is that, Minneapolis, St. Paul? It's Twin Cities, right? Something like that. With a time of 2:10:47 to finish fourth. I don't really have a super big plan coming into this. I didn't really have a super big plan coming into this. It's always so tough, the marathon, just because so much can happen, Richtman said. I just told myself to stay in that pack until about the halfway mark, and then if I felt good, I could make a move. Ended up going a little bit to the lead, and no one really came with me, he said. Richtman of Elburn, Illinois. Member of Montana State cross-country team, All-American honors as a junior, 2022-2023. Okay, so he's a young man. The 1994, last time an American won, Paul Pilkington, 1994, 2 hours, 12 minutes, 13 seconds. I wonder if it's the shoes. In the women's race, Tejinis, pardon me, Tulu, of Ethiopia. Hey, Ethiopia. Is that your cousin, Sion? I don't know. Took the title in 2 hours, 30 minutes. See how slow these women are? 2 hours, 30 minutes. Let's say, that's 150 minutes, right? Divided by 26.2 is 5.725 minutes. So 0.725 times 60 is 43. 5 minutes, 43 seconds. 5 minutes, 43 and a half. About 5:44 average. Right? So he was averaging 453, I guess, and the girl, was averaging 5, whatever, 44, roughly. So I want to see a female to male wannabe trans be able to run at the level of the men. I want to see that. Not that I want to see the transgenders. I don't necessarily really want to see them, but shout out to them. You know, the people who are confused like that. Shout out. Savannah Berry of Orem, Utah, 3rd place. Hey, right on, Savannah Berry. That sounds like a nice American woman, named woman. Savannah Berry. I'm afraid to just click on the IG. Let's see. Let's go to, this might be her. She's running. Bakersfield. Let's see. Just a little quick check on this story. Female runners running sub 6-minute pace. I can't even, well, I won't disclose whether I can keep up with that at this time. After competing in Boston Marathon, she looks ahead at the Olympic trials, and they're trying to make me pay to see this. But, okay, this is the females. LA Marathon. Cool. Good job, ladies. But, yeah, I want to see a male to female dominate the women in the... Never mind. I'm kidding around with that. It's not even mentioned in this story. But, cool. Congratulations. A white man, purportedly white, with a name that's more Democrat per capita than the average. But he doesn't look like he's into any of that stuff. Good news, huh? Finally some good news. This is not good. 39 people died, they say, with these storms. Died. That's crazy. Rest in peace, all you people who died. I told you the storm's coming in. Should have listened. Russia and Ukraine working on a deal per Trump. Gotta make the deal. Gotta make the deal. Trump deported those Venezuelans. And this story is dominating, I think, all 4 of the headlines. Hundreds of mostly Venezuelan alleged gang members deported from the United States to a prison in El Salvador Sunday. Trump administration invoking what they call wartime powers. Morning Brew talks about it. Far left Morning Brew. The ladies at the Skim. Trump tests the legal limits with new mass deportations. Nice. Over the weekend, President Donald J. Trump quietly invoked a wartime act to deport hundreds of Venezuelan so-called migrants without hearings. They don't need a hearing? Well, you don't need a hearing to deport somebody, I don't think. The president said the Alien Enemies Act targeted gang members conducting irregular warfare. Nice. In the United States. Right on. Shortly after, a federal judge temporarily, supposedly blocked the action, ordered any planes in the air to return. Despite this, the Trump administration went through with the deportations, leaving more than 200 Venezuelan so-called migrants in El Salvador's custody. Initially unclear whether and Venezuela is not El Salvador, but that guy's helping out. Thank you, sir. It was initially unclear whether the white on the inside White House deliberately ignored the judge's order, and El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, didn't help matters when he posted on social media. Oopsie, too late. Sorry. In a statement, the White House said the president did not refuse to comply with a court order since the migrants had already been removed from U.S. territory. But far-left Axios, affiliated with HBO, I want to say, reported the Trump administration knowingly disregarded the court. Meanwhile, others say this is another example of the president testing the legal limits of executive power. Or what about this? Because I've heard otherwise. Is it the judges testing the legal limits of judicial power? Is it that? That's just some of the more people on whose side I'm on. You're not supposed to take sides, right? But that's what they're saying. Trump has seemingly been laying the groundwork to use the act for weeks, signing an executive order on his first day so that the administration could prepare to use it. Per Axios, comes as our greatest president grows frustrated with the slow pace of deportations. All you guys, all you naysayers, all you disloyal naysayers, saying Trump's not deporting enough. He's doing it slow. He's not the real one. Well, he agrees with you. The deportations are low, and he's frustrated with it, according to what Axios claims, far-left Axios, if you believe them. Currently lagging behind levels even under the Biden administration. You know, they went crazy under Trump's administration number 1 and 2. Kind of like what Omar was trying to tell you guys. You know how Trump has made a big show of, we got to really, by saying made a big show, he's shown a light on the immigration and invasion and illegal immigration and illegal occupation problem. We'll call it occupying. They're occupying the United States, right? He's shown a light on it, and he made a big show. But when you make a big show, when you shine a light, they fight like crazy, even worse, to stop it. They fight like crazy, even worse, to stop him, to flood. Hurry up and get them in. Make him look bad. Flood the country with illegals. Overwhelm the system so you can break it. That's what they do. And then you suckers, you doubters, you doubters will say, see, he's no good. But Omar, third rail Omar, said he should have done it quietly. But I don't necessarily agree with that. Because you have to, we need to raise awareness of the illegal problem. And that's what Trump has done. Raise awareness. You know, it's a liberal term, raise awareness. But people are so blind and silly. I almost said a different S word that I encourage the kids not to say too much. That's a liberal word, Hake. It is. It's totally a liberal word. But it's the occupation of America. Yeah, these illegals are occupying America. Shout out Kevin Howe in the chat. Nice. So was Trump's deportation illegal? Or were the illegals illegal and he deported them and the judge's order was illegal? Or did he defy the order or did he not defy the order? I don't know. I don't particularly care. I'm glad that he's doing this, I think. Where was I? I was going to cover... Did I finish what the ladies at the Skim claimed? Oh, yeah, okay. See? They also deported a Brown University professor. One judge wants answers. Yeah, get rid of these professors. Deport the professors. Shout out to the professors. I like professors. You know, who's that professor woman whom I like? What's her name? Pocahontas. She seems like she would be kind of a fun professor to have. She's better as a Professor S than she is as a female congressman or whatever she is. Out of somewhere in New England. Blanking. Elizabeth Warren. Trump ignores federal judge's order, say the Morning Brew, to turn around deportation flights. On Friday night, he signed that executive order. On Fridays, that's when you do stuff when you don't want people to notice or pay attention, they say. Friday evenings is when you make your announcements that you don't want people to pay attention to or notice. Because nobody's reading the news on Saturday or Friday night. Invoking the Alien Enemies Act, the invasion of the United States by Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua. Happy Mexican Monday, according to the EO, executive order. Gives the president the right to deport non-citizens without a judicial hearing. Nice. Has little precedent in so-called peacetime. They say peace, peace, when there is no peace. That's what Jesus said about the Pharisees, and that's what Trump is saying about these Pharisees today. The administration did not want to publicize the order, but when it leaked Saturday morning, officials hurried to get planes containing 261 alleged members of the Venezuelan gang in the air. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg ordered the deportations to halt. Who goes there? And any mid-air flights to turn around. A senior White House official told Axios the administration ignored the order because the planes were already in international airspace. So they didn't ignore it. They acknowledged it, and you're too late. This guy doesn't look very Christian to me. Looks fairly fit, this guy. American, so-called lawyer. Boasberg, 62 years old, and he's really trying to undermine our greatest president. White House blasts the judge for attempting to halt the deportation flights. James Emanuel, God with us, Jeb Boasberg, American lawyer, chief judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, D.C., the swamp itself. He went to Yale, oh, Lord, University of Oxford, no. Finished St. Albans School the year I was born, 81, whatever that is. Look at that smile. Never trust a smiling judge or lawyer, liar. Let's see, who appointed him? Obama. Appointed by Obama. An Obama judge. An Obama judge is no judge at all. That's what I say. Let's see what they said here. No lawful basis. Caroline Leavitt said the White House did not refuse to comply with that order. They blasted this judge, though, for saying that. Too late, first of all. The White House criticized that judge. They did not refuse to comply. The order has no lawful basis, was issued after terrorist Tren de Aragua aliens, alleged, had been already removed from U.S. territory. The written order and the administration's actions do not conflict. Moreover, as the Supreme Court has repeatedly made clear, federal courts generally have no jurisdiction over the president's conduct of foreign affairs. His authorities under the Alien Enemies Act and his core Article 2 powers to remove foreign alien terrorists from U.S. soil and repel a declared invasion. See these occupiers. Get rid of these occupiers who've invaded. A single judge in a single city, notwithstanding that is D.C., the swamp itself cannot direct the movements of an aircraft carrier full of foreign alien terrorists who were physically expelled from U.S. soil. That's right, Caroline. Leavitt. Mildly attractive 27-year-old something. Oopsie, too late, he said. Crazy. What a mess, huh? I told you the enemies of America are in America. Now, I'm not saying, whatever. Trump can fix it. Trump will work it out with them, right? Right. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have closed that. Nice. Right on. A little bit more news, guys. The Chinese nationalists are happy, thrilled, And I am too, because you know I love China. That Trump has disbanded. Where is it? Come on. Let's see. VOA. Yeah. Government overhaul. Chinese nationalists and state media cheering our greatest president Trump's dismantling of Voice of America. VOA. I've heard of VOA. I didn't know they were liberals. And Radio Free Asia. Whoever heard of that? RFA and other U.S. government-funded media organizations. So we're putting out government propaganda against China, and meanwhile, we have anti-American propaganda that we green light and even subsidize in some cases under Biden, I heard. Politico, shout out. It's hardly the worst. Like crazy. Beijing relentlessly attacked Voice of America, VOA. Because they go after China for human rights and religious freedom. Give me a break. Cut me some slack. There is no such thing as human rights. It's a communist buzzword. I get that China does stuff that I wouldn't want to have to deal with. But how about this? America's doing stuff that I wouldn't want to have to deal with. Worry about yourself. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? One nationalist influencer called it truly gratifying, reporting from Hong Kong, CNN reports. Another said he was laughing his head off. See? Nationalists around the world love Trump. The Zionist Israel nationalists love Trump. The Chinese Chi-Com nationalists love Trump. And the American nationalists love Trump. A state media apparatus have relentlessly attacked our propaganda apparatus in China, the VOA and RFA, well, I don't know if it's in China, for their critical coverage of China, particularly on human rights and religious freedom. Oh, yeah, I remember they have the Houthis. Is it the Houthis? Oh, no, it's the Uyghurs. The Uyghurs. Uyghurs. Uyghur. Those Uyghur Muslims, they are in China, and some of them commit terrorist attacks. And yeah, China kind of like rounds them all up and puts them in like labor camps or something and supposedly mistreats them. I'm not for that. I'm not for that if it's unjustified. But they are, they're like doing mass stabbing attacks on trains, I heard. So they have a problem, and they're dealing with the problem like a Chi-Com nationalist would. And then we're over there, the peanut gallery, the lie factory is saying, oh, you're violating the religious freedoms of the Uyghur Muslims. And shout out to the Uyghur Muslims. I don't know how you got into China. They could hardly contain their, what is this word? Schadenfreude. What word is this? Commie Nonsense Network? Is that a Chinese word? Is that a American word? Nectar Gan wrote this article. Nice name. Nectar. What is this word? Schadenfreude. Define. Let's hope this is not too loud. Let me turn it down a little, just to make sure.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. Pleasure derived by someone from another person's misfortune. Oh, yeah. Oh, because there are these, because the VOA and RFA, they're people too, okay? We don't take pleasure in their misfortune, but it's not necessarily misfortune. You can get another job elsewhere. President Trump signed an executive order to dismantle Voice of America, Radio Free Asia, and other U.S. government-funded media organizations that broadcast to authoritarian regimes, or to the people underneath those authoritarian regimes. Because Trump is getting rid of authoritarianism in the United States, right? At least that's what he's trying to do. Now the Trump administration silencing the very institutions Beijing has long sought to undermine at a time when China is spending lavishly to expand the global footprint of their own state media. And shout out to them for that. An editorial Monday, the Global Times, a pugnacious, nice word. Why are you using all these big words on me? Don't you know that most of us read at like a 4th grade level and understand clearly? I know this word too, pugnacious. It's a cool name.
Pugnacious.
Oh, thank you. Eager or quick to argue, quarrel, or fight. Well, I mean, sometimes there's a time for that, and maybe these are the times for being pugnacious. Where are we? Yeah, pugnacious Communist Party-run newspaper. I disavow the communists because they're for like Marxism and atheism and stuff. That's not right. And they're kind of against the Christians over there. I don't know what the Christians were really about over there, but they denounced VOA as a lie factory with an appalling track record on China reporting. Reminds me of what the liberal media here say about like Breitbart News, you know, that sort of relatively sort of center left, center right, you know, independent, maybe conservative in some things. Yeah, pretty conservative. The great Ben Shapiro worked for them for a while with them. Andrew Breitbart, the late, great Andrew Breitbart. But they're called, like, unreliable by Wikipedia and all these others. And yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe they get some stuff wrong sometimes. Or they're a little too eager at times. But look at every other outlet. From its coverage of alleged human rights abuses in the far... Hey, Commie Nonsense Network, I like how you put alleged human rights abuses. Because you want to stay on China's good side. I do too. In the far western Xinjiang region, pardon my Chinese, to reporting on the South China Seas disputes, Taiwan, Hong Kong, the China virus scamdemic, the coronavirus pandemic. In the Chinese economy, almost every malicious falsehood about China has VOA's fingerprints all over it, the editorial claimed. As more Americans begin to break through their information cocoons and see a real world in multidimensional China, like I do, the demonizing narratives propagated by the VOA will ultimately become a laughingstock of the times, they said. So nice. Founded in 1996, just like Fox News. I think Fox News was founded around that time. Did you know? 1996. You know, the cable station. And it became like number 1 because it was fair and balanced, and it had everybody. It had Matt Drudge. It had all kinds of people. JLP was a frequent guest. And then they became standard and just like everybody else, subverted by their enemies. But shout out to Fox News regardless. During the 1989 Tiananmen pro-democracy, so-called, protests, democracy, the Chinese language radio broadcast became a critical source of uncensored information for the Chinese people. They discontinued their Chinese radio broadcasts in 2011, but their website, Chinese website, remained online as of Monday. But they stopped putting out new info because they're being disbanded. Bei Fang, the CEO of RFA, Radio Free Asia, called the U.S. grant cutoff a reward to dictators and despots, including the Chinese Communist Party, who would like nothing better than to have their influence go unchecked in the information space. Well, maybe you should have gotten creative and found a way to make money without you needing that U.S. grant. Sucker, Bei Fang. You know what I mean? I'm picking sides, and I don't have this is the first I've ever heard of them. They called it a boon to the Chinese Communist Party. Well, maybe they deserve a boon. Trump did it. I'm for it. Voice America has been paralyzed. So has Radio Free Asia, which is just as malicious toward China. How truly gratifying. Oh, okay. Yeah, Radio Free Asia and Voice America were malicious toward China, they say. What was that noise? Never mind. Don't ask. Trump during his first term was nicknamed Xuan Jianguo, or Trump, the Chinese nation builder, by the Chinese internet, in a mocking suggestion that the U.S. president's isolationist foreign policy and divisive domestic agenda was helping Beijing overtake Washington on the global stage. Comrade Xuan Jianguo and Elon Musk, please take care and stay safe, so they said. Whatever. You can believe whatever you want, but Trump is thinking long-term for all, and especially for the Americans. Xuan Jianguo. I like it. They called, didn't they try to call their leader, Xi Jinping, didn't they try to call him Winnie the Pooh? And it was illegal to call him that. Because that's disrespectful. You shouldn't be disrespectful, especially towards your elders. They've expanded their reach under Xi Jinping and influence of their state media outlets. But we kept our tariffs on them even through the Biden administration, the Trump tariffs. So how about let's have some real, something that actually matters rather than some dumb propaganda that doesn't even influence them, you know? Something that actually matters, which is like fair trade or whatever Trump would call it, you know, with those tariff things. And maybe we can like stop them a little, slow these Chinese people down from coming into our land, supposedly our country, and then they like buy up our property, our real estate property, with cash. You know what I mean? Yeah, reciprocal tariffs, stuff like that. Wow. Nice. Shout out to China. We love you. We love Mr. China, Andy Lau. And we love Jackie Cheung, the great singer, whom I play every Friday that I can. Okay, so that's that news. Okay. I want to plow through more of this stuff. And hang tight, callers. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. There was more. But wait, there's more. It's St. Patrick's Day. You guys want to know how to pronounce these Irish names? They're forcing Irish stuff down our throats. People call it Cillian Murphy. I knew a guy named Killian would call into the Hake Report. Did you know? Irish names, you're probably saying wrong and how to pronounce them. I recognize him. I didn't know how good of an actor he actually is. I didn't like him in that Batman movie. This guy, Cillian Murphy. It looks like Cillian, but it's Killian because it's Irish and you do the math. And then there's this gal and this gal. Whatever that name is, Saoirse Ronan, and Sarah Snook. They're all Irish, I guess. I gather, supposedly, or their names are Irish anyway. This guy is actually good in that one TV show, Peaky Blinders. Okay. Look, hopefully these are not bad words, but Commie Nonsense is. Who's giving this? Maureen O'Hare is giving this. So hopefully this is going to play right, okay?
Killian.
Killian. Whoa.
Killian.
Okay, heard you. Okay. Cillian. Killian. He was in Oppenheimer. I didn't watch it. And then here's how you pronounce that Saoirse. But it's Sorsha.
Sorsha.
All right. That's enough. Sorsha. Oh, Ciara is actually Kira. Huh. Ciara is actually Kira, according to this. When you see an Irish name beginning with a C, it's always with a hard C, no S sound. It's a K sound. The Germanized version, Killian, with a K, it just looks cooler, kind of. But, okay, became the dominant, used to be the dominant spelling in Ireland. Oh, interesting. But after Cillian Murphy's breakthrough movie 28 Days Later, I didn't know he was in that. I haven't seen it. I just heard about it. It became more popular. So they named their people after actors and celebrities too. I thought it was just dirt roads in Ireland.
Eva. Eva.
Eva.
Eva.
Eva. That's E with an accent over it. A, B with a B as in boy. B grande. H, A. The Irish are kind of like the Mexicans of the whites. They have their something. Eva. Nice name. Nice name. I don't know why you wouldn't. Well, AVA is like, what is that? Ava or Ava? Or EVA? Is that Eva or Eva? Or Eva? Eva. Eva is a nice name, but Eva. Eva. E-A, E with an accent, A-B-H-A. Oh.
Eva.
Nice, thank you. Cool. The apostrophe you see in the O of Irish names, and it's an anglicization of a Sinead. It's not Sinead, it's Sinead, I think, I guess. Fada. An acute accent started slanting to the right. A fada. Fada or fada? Above a vowel means the vowel should be pronounced long. Oh. Shine it? I don't know what all this stuff is. You need more. Oh, what's Seoban? I've seen this word and this name and I've always said Seoban, but it's not. It's
Siobhan.
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 Siobhan. But it's S-I-O-B-H-A with an accent. N. How are you saying long then? If it has that accent thing over it. Makes the vowel should be pronounced long. A long A would be Siobhan. But thank you, CNN.
Siobhan.
Siobhan. Cool. Why don't you just speak English, Irish?
Maeve.
Meave.
Maeve.
Oh, that's a nice.
Maeve.
That's cute. I'm a sucker for that. M-E-A-D. It looks like mead. H-B-H. That's cool. Shout out to the Irish. Let's do this one more time.
Maeve.
Meave.
Maeve.
See, okay.
Maeve.
You got me, Irish. You have... I'm on your side now. M-E-A-D-H-B-H. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I like the color of green that they're using. It's like a yellow mung green. Mung yellow green. I don't want to say puke in front of the kids, but that color, green. I like it. That's like probably maybe... I only have a favorite color because I was influenced by women, my mother. What's your favorite color? Green. But that's a nice color there. Miv. Right on. There are so many. I've never even seen these words or names. Tad. Hopefully these are not bad words, because don't Irish cuss?
Tag.
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 Okay.
Tag.
All right. T-A-D-H-G-H. What's the use of this? I've never even seen it. F-I-A-D-H.
Via.
Fia.
Via. Via.
How about this one? Oisin. Oisin.
Oshin. Oshin.
Oshin.
Oshin.
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day. You caught me. You hooked me. With your Irish hooks.
Keelan.
Keelan?
Keelan.
I guess there's an L in there. It looks like Californian. Californian. But it's...
Keelan.
I do like
Keelan.
how you simplify the
Keelan.
pronunciation. You simplify the pronunciation, but you complicate the lettering.
Porrig.
Where's the D?
Porrig.
Why the D then?
Porrig.
Porrig. Well, thank you, Irish and Common Nonsense Network. They're shoving this Irish stuff down our throats. But I'm glad to know. I'm glad to know. Nice. You could almost call this shirt green. It's not green at all. Okay. I feel like getting to some super chats. Wait. Okay, we're approaching the top of the hour. You guys scared me. I thought that it was almost the end of the show. All right. 1-888-775-3773. Hang tight, callers. Hang tight. And you can call in 1-888-775-3773. Be warned. Be warned. I regret to inform you, foreigners, beautiful foreigners. Denny in Bulgaria. My Scotland friend. And my Englishman friend. They're closing down Skype. I don't know how you're going to call. You need some other voice over IP. They have something called Zoom phone, or something like that. Zoom phone. How to call USA 800 number from out of the country free. You can't always call US 800 number for free from outside the United States. You can doing VoIP, voice over IP, VoIP, V lowercase o, capital IP, service, and by dialing the number with the correct international format. So 1-888-775-3773. And the 800 number, 888 is also 800, okay? It's free, toll free. Oh, they're saying, but with the 800 prefix changed to 880. No, but it's 888, so I don't know if you're going to do that. So Skype is closing down. Thanks a lot, lame-o, Microsoft, Bill Gates. Boo. Is Bill Gates still in charge of Microsoft? I feel like I don't know. For some reason, I associate him with that. Voice over IP is internet protocol. Voice over internet protocol. You make the calls over the internet, potentially bypassing international roaming charges. I mean, you could just pay for international calling, but a lot of people don't pay that. You're on hold for however long, and you take, anyway, you may need to purchase credit to make international calls. Okay, well, anyway, Skype is closing down, and I don't know if you guys figure out a way to do it, let me know so that we can tell others how to do it, because it used to be so easy over Skype. It used to be so easy over Skype. I mean, it still is easy over Skype, but it's getting closed down. So, look, degenerate, Microsoft. Goodbye, Skype. See? Hello, Teams. And Teams doesn't have what Skype has, that I can tell. So, that's my irritation with this supposedly private company that's in bed with the government, and they're liberals. And Google Voice, I don't think it'll do it, right? Google Voice, you can usually call. You can try. Actually, I don't know if I can do that. I don't think it does. I think it calls using your own phone. So, sorry. Terrible. What a mess. So that's my little rant. Because Skype was on top of the world, and then they made it worse. They bought it and made it worse. And now, Zoom overtook them during the China virus scamdemic. And Zoom doesn't offer this thing for free that I know of either. That's my side note. Did you hear about those stranded astronauts? Shout out. The Morning Brew says that I didn't get to the super chats yet. The stranded astronauts' long time in space is almost over. Hopefully. I'm praying because I'll believe it when I see it. I don't want, God forbid. There have been some astronauts who have died in re-entry or died, however. No astronauts have ever floated off into space. There was like a close call one time. I was asking AI, Grok, on X about this, about the astronauts, whether the astronauts ever have ever like floated off and presumably died in space, Let's see if I can find my history. I'm looking for, how come you don't see my, oh, did I ask on somewhere else? Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay, so I was asking Grok, how long did it take you? I asked, how long did it take to get to the moon? I don't know if autocorrect said you. So it took them 76 hours, just over 3 days. Because 24, 48, 72, plus 4 hours is 76, right? 3 days and change to travel from Earth to lunar orbit. But I wanted for them to land on the moon. But anyway, it took them 3 days to get to the moon. That's far. The moon is pretty far away. I forget how far away the moon is, but it's like millions of miles away, I think they say. And cool. Right? How far is moon from Earth? 238.9 million no, that's not millions. It's not millions of miles. It's not even 250,000 miles. It's hundreds of thousands of miles, guys. I guess I'm thinking the sun is 93 million miles away, right? Something like that. A lunar distance, 384,399 kilometers. Because some of you guys know kilometers better than miles. 238,854 miles is the moon's average distance to Earth. What, surface to surface or center to center? I don't know. The actual distance varies over the course of its orbit. The image, whatever. They compare the moon's apparent size when it's nearest and furthest from Earth. But there's also when it's close to the buildings and stuff, it's when it's close, like to the horizon, it just looks bigger, right? It's kind of like a magnifying glass type of thing. And then in relation to different things, in relation to everything else, like you don't really, it looks small in the sky. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of things going on with your vision or the appearances. Okay, so they went this far. That's far to go. The world, like 239,000 miles they traveled. More, maybe more because they kind of went in a roundabout way, So let's say they went roughly 240,000 miles away, and it took them 3 days to do it. It takes 3 days, roughly, to get across the United States in a car. Maybe less if you're like nonstop and then you just make one stop to take a nap. But that's, oh, where am I? Oh yeah, I was asking Grok. It launched on July 16th, 1969 and entered lunar orbit July 19th, 1969. Then the actual landing was July 20th. Was it autopilot or did they steer it? A little bit of both, I asked, because I was curious. Has any astronaut ever floated off into space and presumably died? No, there's no record of an astronaut ever floating off into space and dying that way, despite what we saw on like Superman or something. The idea makes for dramatic sci-fi scenes, but in reality, space agencies like NASA, which does not mean lies, and the Soviet space program, now Roscosmos, Roscosmos, have always, that's a cool name, have always taken extreme precautions to prevent such a thing. We don't want somebody flying off into space and dying that way. Astronauts are tethered during spacewalks, extravehicular activities, EVAs. They go outside the vehicle, using safety lines attached to their suit or spacecraft. I don't like how this thing is scrolling. Modern suits also have backup systems like safer, all caps, simplified. Hold on. I want to make it so that I can, no, never mind. I thought that it would be better. Like safer, simplified aid for EVA rescue. What? Doesn't even make sense. A jetpack-like device that lets astronauts maneuver back if they somehow drift off. Even in the early days, the Gemini Apollo missions, tethers and careful protocols standard. There have been close calls. The first American spacewalk, 1955, Ed White, Gemini 4, had trouble with his tether, overextended himself. Oh, overexerted himself. I read it wrong the first time. But he stayed connected. In 1971, the Soyuz 11 crew, Georgy, this one is sad, Dubrovolsky, Vladislav Volkov, and Viktor Patsayev, they died due to cabin depressurization during re-entry. Not from floating away, though. But still, you don't want to die either way. The only case of astronauts dying in space itself, but it was inside their capsule, not adrift. The vast majority of astronaut fatalities happened during launch or landing. Challenger, 1986, that explosion when they were trying to take off. Columbia, 2003. I don't remember that one. Space is unforgiving, but floating off into the void, fortunately, that hasn't happened. I said, so the Russians' bodies sort of exploded, or they got the bends or something? The Soyuz 11 incident. They did kind of get the bends, except faster. June 29th, 1971, cosmonauts, those guys whose names I could barely pronounce, they were returning from a successful 23-day mission. 23 days, all fine, and then they're coming back in, and something happened. Everything seemed fine until they re-entered the Earth's atmosphere and landed in Kazakhstan. And you guys want to say space is fake. When a recovery team opened the hatch, they found all 3 men dead, still strapped in their seats. This is 10 years before I was born, more than 10. The cause was depressurization accident. A small pressure equalization valve meant to balance the cabin's air with the outside atmosphere during descent had opened prematurely about 100 miles up. 100 miles up, which is far too high when there's still a near vacuum up there. The valve, so the air is like way too thin. The valve wasn't supposed to open until much lower, around 13,000 feet, 4 kilometers. So that's like a mile up, right? 100 miles up versus like 2 miles up, right? 13,000 feet, 5,280, a little over 2 miles up is when it's supposed to open, the valve. But it opened at 100 miles up. Yes, okay. The failure let the air rush out of the capsule in seconds. The cosmonauts didn't explode. Space doesn't work like that, despite what movies show. Explosive decompression only happens with extreme pressure differences, like in deep sea scenarios. But that would be compression, right? Implosion. But anyway, deep sea with the heavy water on you all around. Instead, they suffered from rapid decompression. The sudden loss of pressure caused the air in their lungs to expand, leading to lung damage. Dang. And the lack of oxygen triggered unconsciousness within 15 to... This is according to AI, okay? But AI does their research. They may get it wrong, but okay? So take what you hear with a grain of salt. But anyway, they triggered unconsciousness within 15 to 20 seconds. Autopsies showed hemorrhaging in their brains and lungs. Nitrogen bubbles formed in their blood, similar to the bends. Decompression sickness when you're coming up from deep sea and you come up too fast. And then like the air bubbles form in your blood and you double over because you get the bends. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's terrible. I think people got it when they built the Golden Gate Bridge or something. Something to that effect. They built something, and they got the bends. Similar to that decompression sickness that divers get, but much faster and more severe due to the vacuum exposure. They likely died within a minute or two, but they were out of consciousness within 15 to 20 seconds. So that's crazy. They had no spacesuits at that time. At that time, the Soyuz crews didn't wear them during reentry, so they saved space so that they could bring in a third cosmonaut. Because normally it's just 2 astronauts, but they wanted a third one. They call them cosmonaut. Cosmos, astro, stars, something, space is real. Anyway, the decision that changed after this disaster. So if they had kept their spacesuits on, maybe the spacesuit could have maintained some pressure for them and their lungs wouldn't have... Ooh. A haunting detail, the ground crew did hear a faint tapping sound during communication attempts. I don't know if you guys heard that. Sorry. Possibly one of them trying to signal or fix the issue before passing out. Terrible. Rest in peace. See, we love the Russians. I asked if human beings ever left orbit. Yes, they have, but only to go so far as the moon. But the moon is in Earth's orbit, so how are they out of orbit? But I guess it's because they were going faster. They would have kept on going had they missed the moon. Let's see if they hadn't missed the moon. I mean, if they had gotten they were caught by the moon's orbit. You know, they were pushed towards the moon, or pulled. But I like push. Because it's different. It's cool. So they weren't, they were above low Earth orbit, which is about from whatever to, from like 100 miles, I forget how low, what the lower end is, maybe 100 miles up to 1,200 miles above Earth's surface is lower Earth orbit, and that's where all the satellites are. But the moon is a satellite too, but it's way up, like we talked about. Cool. Anyway, yeah. Nice. Whatever. I want to move on. But I wonder though, are those astronauts going to get home? Where were we? I hope they get home because that would look bad on Elon Musk. Because they enlisted him to save them because they're stuck up there because they don't trust Boeing's aircraft. So they're using the SpaceX one. I don't know. SpaceX Crew Dragon arrived at International Space Station early Sunday morning. Oh, and it took them a while. It took them a while too. It's partly why I was asking. But anyway, because that thing is going so fast, the International Space Station is actually flying. It's flying, like literally flying. And so you have to kind of like come at it, or at least the safer way is to come at it kind of on the inside track, a little bit lower. So you're going faster and you catch up to it. And then you go up higher and then slow down and then you connect. It's pretty awesome. I don't know if you guys understand. Two new NASA astronauts, a Japanese astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut. I don't know why they call the Russians different. Clearing the way for Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams to head home, finally, perhaps later this week. I'll believe it when I see it. I want to see them get home safely. Not that I care about them. That's crazy. NASA insists the pair has not been stranded this whole time, but instead that they were intentionally left hanging for technical and budgetary reasons and abundance of caution, which I support, an abundance of caution. Wilmer and they will get no overtime or compensation above and beyond their usual salary. They're probably well paid. Give me a break for the extra months spent working from space. per a retired astronaut familiar with the government's terms. So he claims. Who could blame them if they start thinking about NASA just as their job 5 days a week? Whatever. So, what a mess. Those, look at those kids. Are those kids? Those are not kids. Those are just young men. Maybe there's a woman. Is that a woman too? Maybe that's why I think that they're kids. I did see that one of them wore like an alien mask. One of the people who's up there already maybe greeted them with an alien mask. Something. I agree with a lot of you guys who say, what's the point of it? You're wasting a whole bunch of money, but it's pretty cool. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, that Boeing Starliner was the one that couldn't do it. Anyway, I got to read Super Chats, guys. Sweet. Terry. Mobetta. Don't read that word, kids. And Renesio. All bought coffees. Thank you, guys and gals. Renesio bought this over on Friday, coffee, on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. It's not The Hake Report. /The Hake Report. Hake, what type of Indian would you keep in a farm to work? The feather, you know, the American Indians? Pretty crafty. Yeah, they made arrowheads out of like obsidian, I want to say. And they're pretty cool. But there are more red dots. You know, the India Indians. A lot of them will have the red dot on their head for religious reasons, I guess. So they can probably get more done. And they're very enterprising. Those India Indians. Very enterprising. I don't know if they do well with manual labor. So for that reason, I may pick the American Indian. And I feel like the American Indians belong here with us. They get to stay. Whereas the India Indians, they're coming, and they're working. Not necessarily manual labor. But I respect their hustle. They're hustling. Not necessarily even dishonestly. Shout out to both. I don't know. Renesio. But thank you, man. Edgy, by the way. Mobetta bought a very generous 15 coffees. I'm covering up his name because it's somebody told me that it's not the nicest word for the kids to know. Or Hake. Hake, let us be real. If the audience wanted to hear non-stop Jew support from you and Jesse, we would either turn the mainstream media back on or put on a small hat with fake sideburns and try to fit in with the local synagogue. Christians are not the same as crucifiers. Please return to y'all roots. Well, Mobetta, I say that we are in our roots because we've always been non-stop supporting Jews. Always. And we were raised that way. When I say we, JLP and me, I was raised, Israel. It's the Holy Land or whatever, the Bible. And we love the Jews. And also I was raised, and JLP was raised that way too, right? And also I was raised where we crucified Jesus. We not saying that Hake is a Jew, okay? You guys think that Hake is, or at least the mentally ill ones. Shout out. But I was raised, the Christianity that I learned was that Jesus died for our sins. There's something in the Bible where it says, you may as well be nailing him back on the cross again. It's in the Bible, something to that effect. Is it in the Bible where they say you may as well be crucifying Jesus all over again. Hebrews 6:5, if they fall away, to renew them again to repentance, since they crucify again themselves, the Son of God, and put him an open shame. Bible.com. I prefer Bible Gateway just because I've gotten more familiar with it, but New King James Version. Let me read Hebrews 6. Oh my goodness, look at all these little bubbles. Therefore, leaving the discussion of elementary... What verse was that? Hebrews 6:6. Okay. So I don't have to read too much. Leaving the discussion of the elementary principles of Christ, let us go on to perfection. Perfection. So I don't want to hear you guys saying, I'm not perfect, and God doesn't want us to be perfect. Yes, he does. But anyway, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and of faith toward God, the doctrine of baptisms, of laying on of hands, resurrection from the dead, and of eternal judgment. And this we will do if God permits, for it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted the heavenly gift and have become partakers of the Holy Spirit and have tasted the good word of God and the powers of the age to come, if they fall away, to renew them again to repentance, since they crucify again themselves, the Son of God, and put him to an open shame. Nice. What a mess. So you're supposed to, I don't really get that entirely, but it's something to the effect of, you better not be nice, whatever. So anyway, it's something to that effect. Mo Betta. It's something to that effect where you're not supposed to fall back into hatred. Jesus said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Why then repeat the wrong that they did, and just because they support it to this day, maybe, some of them. I was raised, we're not any different. No Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free. That's why I respect the slaves and the masters. Male nor female, spiritually speaking, of course. On earth, practically speaking, women are different from men and they have different roles. But, yeah. So I'm well in my roots to give you my non-stop Jew support. Mo Betta. But thank you very kindly for the generous donation. But you can't bribe me to fall away from my roots of non-stop Jew support. Shout out. I guess that since you're trying to bribe me, shall call you my 99th favorite Jew. Maybe even better. Mo Betta. Is Mo Betta black? Then he might be a Jew from the tribe of Judah, the black Hebrew Israelite. I'm not sure. Terry bought a coffee. Pinches you. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Hake. 3-leaf clover. I remember one time I found a clover, right? One of these things. Because they're weeds. They're called weeds here in Southern California. I found a little weed with the 3-leaf clover, and it was in such a way that I could tear it and separate one of them, and it looked like a 4-leaf clover, and I gave it to my friend Kathleen, and she's all, I got a 4-leaf clover, because 4-leaf clovers are rare and lucky, but Apple or whoever made this emoji wants to be realistic and only give you a 3-leaf clover because those are the more common ones. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you. Our resident Irishman woman. Very cool. Let me double check over on the others for other super chats on Streamlabs and elsewhere. I hope that was satisfactory over there for you, Mo Betta. Hopefully so. Where was I? Okay, pardon me. I like to keep track. Lin Yunshin, yellow Jew of the highest order, was Bruce Lee, like I read to you, speaking of the Jews. He fused Chinese magic with Jewish, well, he said Jew, magic from his father, the German Jew, who was a butcher, or that was a butcher. I didn't know he was a butcher, and I knew he was German, but I didn't know he was a Jew. And Lin Yunshin is Jamaican Chinese magic, so his power level is low, but you can probably make some nice reggae music that everybody likes and feels all right. Let me double check over on the Rumble and elsewhere. What's up, T-Fly and Monkey and all you guys? I find it better to look over here. Severio Jones, always supportive. Army and Misty, thank you for the ice cream. Jake Huston, host in the Hake Report. Very nice. Very nice. Let me double check to see if Joel Friday TV is scheduled to go over here. Joel Friday TV will be here. How to Take Thoughts Captive. That will be his show title coming up soon, guys. Clovers are edible, Hake, says Potleaf. Really? I think that's cloves, right? Not to be confused with clovers, or are clovers edible? Weeds are edible. Anyway. Sweet. Okay, back to the news. I have some things that I've been meaning to get to, but before I get to them, the liberal UK, I don't like this news item. I like it because I like the topic, but museums and auction houses should not hold human remains, so say some UK lawmakers. Fix your country, man. Men and women. Amarachi Ori wrote this article. Look at this beautiful place. What is this? Looks like something called like the Parthenon or something, but it's just the British Museum in London. Cool. Wow. Lawmakers and campaigners in the UK are pushing for an end to display human remains in museums and the sale of human body parts in auction houses. All-party parliamentary group on African reparations. Oh, no, Lord have mercy. APPG-AR, African with a K, reparations, made up of parliamentarians, campaigners, and community members, released a report Wednesday calling for the ban on the sale and display of ancestral remains, including Egyptian mummies, like King Tut. Everybody wants to go see King Tut. They're trying to just hamstring their draw, their tourist draw. That's a major tourist draw. Who would not want to go see King Tut? At present, the law regulates the storage and use of human remains in the UK, only requires the consent for acquiring and holding body tissue for people under 100 years old. Look at this. These skulls. Ugh. Imagine, like, that was a person at one. I mean, that was the skull that was inside of the head of the person, the face, behind the face, underneath the scalp. The Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford removed all human remains from their displays in 2020 as a decolonization, anti-colonialism process, decolonization process. Isn't that evil? Anti-white, so sick. The Human Tissue Act of 2004 also only prohibits people from buying, selling, and possessing body parts for transplantation. You know, you want somebody's spleen. I want your spleen. The report titled "Laying Ancestors to Rest." I don't know if I'm pointing to my spleen. I'm just pointing generally to my innards. Laying Ancestors to Rest outlined ancestors. Anti-white buzzword. Outlined the distress caused to the diaspora communities by British institutions holding ancestral remains, many of which were taken during colonial rule, righteous rule of the British colonies. Not necessarily righteous. The mummified person has historically been traded among the upper classes of Britain and France as a luxurious commodity, also featuring as entertainment in British mummy unwrapping parties in the 19th centuries. Whoa, 1800s, right? In more recent times, Egyptian mummified persons, they're not persons anymore. They're dead bodies that were preserved for this very reason. Well, not really. Transformed to the popularized haunted mummy figure, which reduces Egyptian heritage to exoticized mystique for the Western audience. What's wrong with that? Just be glad. It's kind of like the Chinese are fascinated with Trump and us, and the North Koreans really like that black guy, basketball player. Let them like us, and let us like your ancient stuff. It's not that you have nothing to do with anyway, by the way. The report made 14 recommendations, including this blah, 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 blah. Include the remains of people who died more than 100 years ago. Board of Trustees, National Museums should be representative diasporas in society, meaning the scattered minorities, and funders should dedicate resources to mapping inventory, blah, 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 blah. During a debate on the dead human tissue, in the House of Lords, Parliament's upper house on Thursday, Fiona Twycross, a junior minister in the Department of Culture, Media, and Sport, acknowledged that the guidance was dated and the world has changed substantially since then, meaning the popular view is anti-white history. And I like for history to be, fair, balanced, but that's not what they are. Abominable trade, they call it. Lord, what a mess. Look at that. There's one of those. We're looking at the mummy, or the outer thing, sarcophagus thingy. Visitors look at Egyptian mummies, sarcophagi. Oh, is that what they're called? Not sarcophaguses? And the Cult of the Dead at Pharaonic Empire at British Museum in London, September 2019. These pushy, noisy, evil people. Who is more ethical? I think they take advantage of our ethics. What a mess. So, yeah, I don't like that. I knew that there was something off about it, and it's an attack on the English Empire. So sick. So sick. The Libs are so crazy and angry that they want to stop Trump. They want the nutcases like Cortez, Sandy Cortez, Alexandra, whatever, Ocasio-Cortez. They want her to be running the show instead of Chuck Schumer, who's more reasonable. I call him based Chuck Schumer. Democrat Party's favorability has dropped to a record low, according to Ariel Edwards-Levy, or Levi. Their favorability rating among Americans stands at a record low per a new poll CNN poll conducted by something, fueled in part by dimming views of their own frustrated supporters, many in the party saying publicly their leaders should do more to stand up to our greatest president, Trump. Democrats and Democrat-aligned independents say 57% to 42% Democrats should mainly work to stop the Republican agenda, or Republicant, rather than working with the GOP majority to get some Democrat ideas into legislation. So they want to stay losing. They're just so angry. Remind me of the Tea Party and the rest of us. We wanted to stop Obama. Please stop Obama from fundamentally transforming America to be evil. The survey, even more evil, right? The survey was taken March 6th to 9th, days before 10. Okay, so it was even before Chuck Schumer went along with it. So this is I feel like this is propaganda from on CNN's part. Like they are all too eager to try to get that to happen. Oh, a significant change 2017 in September 2017 under Trump. 74% majority of Democrats and Democrat leaners said they should work with Republicans to try to advance their own priorities, and 23% advocated for a more combative approach. So now they really want to be crazy combative. Interesting. Terrible. Just have a good attitude, Democrats. You Democrat leaner people, suckers. I don't mean to call you suckers. It just slips out. What else can you be, though? But have a good attitude. It'll work out. Trust me, you'll still be able to destroy America. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry. I'm next. Next. This is interesting. You know how JLP says don't make sleep too important? Are you wide awake at night but tired in the morning? Here's what could help according to experts. They don't really tell you what can help. But people are tired at the wrong time. It's a common complaint. People go into something called sleep doctors. Dr. Sonia Schutz. SCHU with the umlaut, the two dots things. I don't know what it's called. TZ. Neurologist, brain scientist, specializing in sleep medicine, they call it. Associate professor of neurology at University of Michigan Medical School. People coming off as lazy. Look, they quote another woman. Dr. Allison Harvey, professor of psychology and blah, 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 sleep and mood research at UC Berkeley. So they give you little tips because you have a messed up body clock, right? You're tired in the morning, but you're not tired at night. You're wide awake at night. You're on the phone, all kinds of stuff. You're on your computer, checking out the internet. Pardon me. I just need a little bit of water. Not too much water, though. People getting groggy. They have sleep inertia. I don't know. I don't have a problem going. When I'm ready to go to sleep, I go to sleep just fine. Whether you're a night owl or early bird, which are common descriptors, although it is tempting to go on Twitter a little bit longer, go on YouTube a little bit longer, and suddenly it's late, and you get 6 hours or 5 hours of sleep. Common descriptors of a person's chronotype, night owl or early bird. The sleep-wake cycle takes time to tweak and cannot be done in large increments, they say. A lot of people work the graveyard shift or the swing shift or whatever, and then they just stay like that. I've heard about it. Sleep hygiene habits. Wind down, turn off electronics 1 or 2 hours before bed, dim the lights in the house, do a calming activity like reading. Stretching is good. Yeah, but anyway, reading. Yeah, reading is pretty good. It'll knock you right out. It's funny how reading, boring, but it's not even necessarily boring. It's interesting. But you're reading from like a book, okay? Not from the screen. Whereas you're going online, that like wakes you up. But reading, it just puts you out. It's true. Teenagers tend to multitask a lot of different activities before bedtime. Homework, using social media can make the winding down difficult as they transition, not that kind of transition, to where an age where they get less deep sleep than they did as children. In the morning, they say don't use the snooze button. It harms your sleep. Just get up. Get light exposure in the morning after waking up, they say. Wash your face. Getting in physical activity. Get your exercise. can help your body feel more tired at night and ready for bed. Indeed. That's true, actually. I went for like a longer than usual walk up after church, and I was pretty sleepy last night. I think I went to bed at like 7:30. Actually got a pretty good night's sleep. Experts agree the recommended amount of sleep for adults, 7 to 9 hours per night. Trump gets like 3. I know people who get like 3, 2. That's nuts. Some people can do that. They say, I've heard people say, oh, if I get less than 6, I'm really feeling it. It's definitely not enough. But I always thought that 6 was okay. 5, 6. But dang, 7 and 9, I thought that's just for kids. I remember trying to get 9, 10 hours of sleep because I was trying to be like fast at running. But I made it too important. My friend said, James, you try to do everything by the book. And you got to relax. That was high school, okay? Can look slightly different from person to person. It's very common people are sleep deprived without even being aware of it because their body needs at least 9 hours to feel really rested. So says this Schultz woman person. By tracking your sleep, oh, nobody wants to. That just sounds like something I don't want to do. And learning about where your body feels rested, you can start to establish new habits and have an easier time getting up in the morning. Napping has been found to be beneficial for cognitive abilities like memory and function. The timing is important. Longer naps and napping later in the afternoon could cause someone to feel more alert when bedtime rolls around. That's right. Keep naps between 20 and 30 minutes, this woman says. I've heard that before. Fogginess in the morning. I don't know. Obstructive sleep apnea. Apnea is when you snore and can't breathe, right? And then you stop breathing and then you like panic. Whatever your body does. Something like that. And it affects your brain. Your brain gets not enough oxygen. Mental health could be a factor. Someone who is depressed can often wake up feeling fatigued. And sleep inertia that normally lasts around 20 minutes for someone who is not depressed can last several hours. So it says, who's Harvey? Was that the Allison woman? I wish they would use first names for women. Alas, it's the evil world I have to deal with. While it's important to get the best sleep you can, it's important to remember our bodies are flexible. No big deal. You got to pull an all-nighter sometimes or whatever. You stay up late, get up early every now and then. You do go to the women's forum which is this Thursday, ladies. Third Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bonn in Los Angeles. And you fall asleep only for a moment and the moment's gone. You still have, just make sure you get your rest in general. So then it's not you don't get pushed into sickness just because you have a night off that's off. Situation arises where someone may need to shift their sleep schedule unfavorably. Parents with infants, children who have needs, taking care of sick relatives, unusual work weeks. No need to panic, said this. Maybe it's Allison Harvey. I'm not sure. I don't want people to have that sense of anxiety about sleep. Exactly. Anxiety won't help sleep. Duh. It's kind of like people getting mad or afraid of the China virus. Anger and fear are bad for you. People judging the anti-maskers and the anti-maskers judging the maskers. That's not good for your health or is good, period. In general, we should all try to consistently get good sleep or get good sleep consistently so we don't split our infinitives. If we do have, oh, Lord, sleep privilege, don't give me that word. I'm traumatized by the word privilege. Sleep disparity, race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic position. Didn't we have a caller who said that God gives good sleep to the godly? Like he quoted the Bible or something like that. God gives good sleep. Let's see. To his beloved. Common interpretation of Psalm 127, which says, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, so he gives his beloved sleep. Interesting. When you lie down, Proverbs 3:24-26, when you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, you will sleep soundly. You will not be afraid of sudden terror, nor of the destruction of the wicked when it comes. Philippians 4:6-7, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. But it doesn't say anything about sleep in Christ Jesus. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Isn't that nice? But I like the Psalm 127, verse 2, real quick, because we shouldn't just rely on common nonsense. Lord. There we go. Bible Gateway, my preferred. It's NIV, I get it. Let me go over to, as a nod to the KJV only people, the bread of sorrows, he doth give his beloved sleep. Except that the Lord build this house, they labor in vain that build it. Except that the Lord keep the city, the watchmen wake, but in vain. Nice. Right on. Shout out. Who wrote that? Was that David or was that one of the other psalmists? So, nice. But it's, it's nice worldly advice from this. Let's see if it's Allison. Yeah, Allison Harvey. Harvey. Calling her Harvey. Calling a woman Harvey. Terrible. Sleep privilege. Maybe the point was maybe you don't have sleep privilege because you're degenerate. Nice. Okay, so real quick, I think I have room for maybe one or two more quick stories that I've been trying to get to. These ladies at the Skim, they're talking about the far left Saudi Arabia is giving women maternity leave for the Women's Tennis Association, I think, right? Tennis? Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund is funding this 12 months of paid leave, financial support for tennis players. I think it's tennis. WTA, tennis, right? That's a tennis. Is that a woman? That's a woman athlete kissing her baby, and she has a trophy there or something, or somebody put a trophy in it. I don't know. So those people who become parents via partner pregnancy, surrogacy adoption, get 2 months of paid leave. Payers get grants for fertility treatments, egg freezing, and IVF, in vitro fertilization, stuff that Trump kind of wants to do, and I disagree with him on it. But shout out. It's nice. How about we encourage people to wise up and get more mature at a younger age so that they're ready for marriage at a younger age and more sensible, and then they actually do it. Rather than trying to get their careers going, these women. This is why I disagree with women's sports. For years, women athletes have faced the choice, their sport or starting a new family, risking their ranking, income, and spot on tour. Big old egos. Leagues like the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, or WNBA, Women's so-called National Basketball Association, provide paid maternity leave. Tennis players considered independent contractors. They don't play, they don't get paid. Nice. This new fund helps them change that. But critics are calling it Saudi Arabia is they're sports washing, whitewashing their human rights record, right? Because Saudi Arabia is, they just barely let women drive. But whatever. Tennis legend and mom Victoria Azarenka said the program is life-changing. See, they're just blowing money on these women who should just be humble, ladies. Just have their babies, and then if you want to get back to playing tennis, do it. Mess. Ridiculous. What did I say about it? They're making making it, everybody's bending over backwards for them and they want to pretend equality. Saudi Arabia is evil, although they are our ally. So I support them. Last quick thing. This is important. Everybody was talking about how she's like so strong. This Caitlin Clark gal. She doesn't look any stronger. She looks probably less strong than any of the, what is this trying to tell me to do? Her ripped arms. She doesn't look any stronger. There's like practically most of the NBA guys have way stronger looking arms. Kobe, his freshman year, he was his first year, the late great Kobe Bryant, his first year in the NBA, he was all skinny like she is, except his arms were way more defined than hers. I get it, women aren't naturally defined. Look at those biceps. Dave Portnoy, degenerate, shout out. They're talking about how this Caitlin Clark gal, she has strong looking arms. Look at that. Dang. So she's all excited. And so I don't know if I want to do this. So she has triceps and biceps and a little bit of shoulders, right? And then forearms and fists. And she's yelling. She's cheering on the crowd. Okay, so whose arms are bigger, Hake's or Caitlin Clark's? Hey, look, she has that line too in the middle. Our collars hang tight. Man, oh man. Oh! Somebody censored it. Thank you, Mazda, for censoring those bare arms. I'm not going to bare my arms. I bare my arms for no one. So whose arms are bigger? Whatever. You're supposed to get stronger. So she's in her sophomore year, her second year, going into her second year. 23 years old. I was pretty fit too. At 23, she went into the weight room, they said, which is not a bad idea how much punishment she got because they pushed her around because she's white and better than them, allegedly. And also, like, whatever, they're all over-aggressive and high testosterone. Some of those black gals in that league. So, right on, you're Caitlin Clark. You're strong looking. Still mildly attractive. Still okay. They're calling it ripped. That's not ripped. That's just defined for a girl. My aunt has arms like that, and she's like in her 60s and 70s. See, look, there's her skinnier arms. Those could be the same arms, to be honest. It's just one is not as flexing, and it's just further away, and the lighting is different. I don't know. I feel like it's almost perverse. It's almost perverted, honestly. It just doesn't... Anyway, I don't know. Oh, she's not the best anymore. Somebody beat her record already. So while she's working on her arms, somebody's... Oh, you think she's taking creatine? Somebody said that... I don't know. I don't want to say. This is from Locker... What's this outlet? Sloppy Outlet, probably. Oh, Bet US came out with it. Creatine is kind of... Is it cheating? But whatever. Nice. I don't think that it's necessarily cheating. Oh, man. Callers. Oh, Hake Punchy is going now, I heard. Is it? Punchy.tv/Hake is going. Thank you, Nick, the anchor baby. I got to get out of here, guys. Rick in Hampton, VA, I could not get to you. I wanted to. And the rest of the callers. We got to wrap up. It's Mexican Monday. Joel Friday TV is coming up. We do have Punchy.tv happening after American Anchor, baby. It's a busy Monday. I got to get out of here. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. I like that one song, that Cumbia, that goes like this. Yeah, that one. Isn't this nice? Cumbia, Sampuesana. Mexican Monday. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully he's not saying something bad.
La cumbia sampuesana.
Whoa.
La que baila con ganas. La cumbia sampuesana. La que baila con ganas.
What a vibe. Allegedly it's this guy, I'm not sure. So ghetto, Hake. Rika, what'd you think about the mummies?
Muévete, muévete, negra.
Whoa. Muévete, negra. You can't say that. So good. I could beat Caitlyn too in wrestling.
La cumbia sampuesana.
Sampuesana.
La que baila con ganas.
Hopefully it's not something bad.
La cumbia sampuesana. La que baila con ganas. Pero que bajo. Oh.
Isn't this a vibe? How do they make that sound? I'm playing the, whatever, I could do that too. Joel Friday coming up soon. The accordion, yeah, thank you, Potleaf. So good. What a vibe. They do have fun music. Wow, right on time. I gotta get out of here, guys. Take care. Oh.